checking out the Performance Anxiety Podcast on the Pantheon Podcast Network. My name is Mark, and I'm your host. This one gets a little rough in spots. My guest today is drummer Kofi Baker. He's the son of Cream drummer Ginger Baker. Kofi talks a lot about the complicated and sometimes frightening relationship he had with his parents, Ginger in particular. He's completely candid about his first experiences with drugs, which were supplied by his dad. He also describes the period of his life when he was homeless and how he would tie his drums to him at night so they wouldn't get stolen. But even after the beatings, the abandonment, the years of neglect, Kofi has found that his goal in life is to keep Ginger Baker's legacy alive. To that end, he's playing in The Music of Cream with Eric Clapton's nephew, Will Johns. It's a multimedia experience with photos, videos, stories, and the music of Cream. So go to kofibaker.com or musicofcream.com. Follow Kofi on social media. It's pretty easy to find him. And give us a follow at Performance ANX. Rate and review the show. And you can help us out through ko-fi.com/performanceanxiety or performanceanx.threadless.com. I hope you enjoy Kofi Baker on Performance Anxiety, part of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Real simple.
Yeah, I can just say, my name's Kofi Baker. I'm not an arsehole like my dad.
Exactly. Yeah, and I will use that.
Well, I am an arsehole like my dad, maybe.
Well, that remains to be seen.
Okay.
Well,
we'll find out.
Yeah.
You can judge that by the end of the interview.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. Are you ready? Okay, I'm Kofi Baker, and hopefully I don't get performance anxiety, because I'm on performance anxiety. But we're going to be doing the Music of Cream tour in spring. Check out musicofcream.com or kofibaker.com, and check out this podcast. Again, weird. You're going to get performance anxiety, going on performance anxiety. What's it? It's called performance. What's it? Say the whole thing. Oh, sorry, that's what it is? It says, I'm on performance anxiety and I don't have it. I'll just sit down then.
Yeah, I'm about to take my shoes off myself here. Finished up dinner, ran over here, got all set up, and
yeah, I'm just eating my dinner right now.
Do you want me to give you a few minutes? You can finish up your dinner?
No, that's all right.
You sure?
I can munch away while we're talking.
Sounds good. I've had that happen a few times.
Yeah, well, I'm always eating. I'm always eating. I eat every 2 hours, so, you know.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, like 6-7 meals a day.
Jeez. Man, yeah. I wish I could do that, but they won't let me take that many breaks at work.
Oh, you see, when I used to teach, I used to set the students with an exercise and then go cook my food.
That's good timing.
Yeah, I like to eat all the time. It's healthier to eat in small meals anyway. So
I've heard that.
Well, because we're hunter-gatherers, we used to graze. You know, your body. I mean, I studied fitness training when I was younger. I used to do a bit of fitness training and stuff. And if you have someone who's overweight, the reason they're overweight is because they're only eating 1 or 2 times a day. So your body goes into starvation mode. It stores fat because your body needs nutrition every 2-3 hours. So, you know, your body's going to, your metabolism is slow. Your body's very intelligent. Your whole thing is very intelligent. You know, your body will slow your metabolism down and store fat. So it doesn't know when the next meal is going to be.
Oh, wow.
So if you eat constantly, your body knows it knows it's getting food. It doesn't store anything and your metabolism goes up.
I may have to try that. That's all right. Well, I'm going to mention that to my wife, and I think I'm going to do that because I could stand to lose a few pounds still. So.
Right. Well, I mean, drinking a lot of water too. I mean, you've got to drink a lot of water.
Right. She tells me that too. I got to drink a lot more water than I do. And I go up and down with that. Sometimes I'm really good. And then when I'm drinking a lot of water, I'm in the bathroom constantly. So.
Right. Well, that's good. I mean, it's good to be, because you're flushing your body out.
Yeah. I have to explain that to my supervisor, though. I've just been drinking a lot. I got to go to the bathroom again. Nothing weird's going on.
I have a bottle behind my drum kit, so I don't have to keep going up the stairs to the toilet.
I don't think they'll let me do that at my desk. They may have a problem with that part. Well, thank you so much for joining me. This is really awesome. I'm really happy to have you on.
Yeah, fun. Always fun doing these interviews.
Well, I'm thrilled to have you on. I just had Will Johns on a few days ago.
Oh, okay.
So getting to know the band, the Music of Cream, really well. So it's
right.
I mentioned to him that I was going to have you on, and he told me a couple things. I was gonna wait to ask you this, but I think I might start off with this because he told me I need to ask you about two things in particular. He said, ask Kofi about broccoli.
Rockets.
Broccoli.
Oh, broccoli.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I eat broccoli every night, a whole bowl of broccoli. It's one of my favorite things to eat with lemon juice. So after the gigs, of course, I'm steaming broccoli, which if you haven't steamed broccoli, smells like farts.
Yes.
So the whole bus smells like a big fart, unless I get time to steam my broccoli after the show in the venue, and then the venue smells like farts. But either way, I'm steaming broccoli and eating eggs at night before I go to bed.
That was the other thing he said. He said, ask him about steamed eggs on the tour bus.
Well, I mean, I normally don't steam my eggs, but scrambling eggs on a tour bus is kind of hard.
Oh,
so, I have to use a microwave or I use my steamer. I travel with a steamer and a cooker. So nice. I have a case with, a cooker and a steamer and everything I need, a smoothie maker, because I eat healthy. So when I'm on the road, I go to the store and stock up a cooler and I just eat that. Everybody else, eats whatever they're going to eat. But right. I'm a vegetarian now anyway, so
okay.
Don't eat meat. I mean, I eat a little bit of meat here and there, some fish here and there, but I'm not a meat eater anymore. I studied it so hard being a fitness trainer and everything. And you won't believe this, but the same people, the lawyers and all the same people that were telling you cigarette smoking is good for you are the same people telling you meat's good for you.
I'm trying to remember what I saw a couple of months ago, if it was an ad or if it was an old TV show, and they were saying that some woman was pregnant and had like hypertension. So they said, oh, have a couple cigarettes, calm down.
There you go.
What? Oh my God. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Without a healthy mind, being truly happy and at peace is hard. The good news is therapy works. But what is therapy exactly? It's whatever you want it to be. Maybe you're not feeling motivated right now and would like some tools to help out. Or maybe you're feeling insecure in relationships or at work, not dealing well with stress. Whatever you need, it's time to stop being ashamed of normal human struggles and start feeling better. Because you deserve to be happy. And now you don't have to worry about finding an in-person therapist near you to help. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist. So you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. Try that in person. Join the millions of people who are seeing what online therapy is really about. It's always a good time to invest in yourself because you are your greatest asset. And a special offer to Performance Anxiety listeners, you can get 10% off your first month of professional therapy at betterhelp.com/performanceanxiety. That's betterhelp.com/performanceanxiety. Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode.
So, I mean, it's just a balance. You have to have a balance in life. If you drink too much water, you're going to die. I mean. Yeah,
that's it. You get water poisoning.
Right. You can hyperventilate, too much oxygen.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
that's true.
You just got to, it's just a balance of life. And, I'm old now. I'm 52. So, I've got to take care of myself.
Hey, I'm not too far with you. I'm 48. So.
Oh, well, you're still in your 40s. That's cool.
Yeah. Barely.
I think your your 50s, everything starts to hurt more. I mean, 40s is when I lost my eyesight. I started needing glasses when I hit 40.
Oh man,
50, you know.
I lost my eyesight.
I need a cane.
Yeah, I lost my eyesight as a teenager, and then I ended up getting. I got LASIK though, and then after 15 years.
Well, I know what happened with the glass thing. I know why you got glasses.
What's that?
I mean, it's like that kid that was caught masturbating. You know, his dad said to him, he said, "Look, you know, if you keep masturbating, you're going to go blind."
Right.
And the kid goes, "Well, okay, I won't." And then the dad caught him a second and a third time and just said, "Look, I've told you, son, if you keep masturbating, you're going to go blind." And the kid goes, "Oh, sorry, Dad. I'm just going to do it till I need glasses."
Yeah.
I don't know if you can put that one in the podcast.
Oh,
but, you know.
Absolutely. That's going right up front.
Okay. I'm just watching Bob Saget's roast, so I mean, I've got to calm myself down a little bit here.
Yeah. Oh, man. So, all right. So I've got so many questions for you. I know a lot of them you've probably answered before, so hopefully it'll lead to some that maybe you don't get asked so often. We'll see. Hopefully. Okay. You started playing drums at an incredibly young age. There is a story that you, at the age of 6, was it 6 that you were on the Old Grey Whistle test with you?
I think it was 7.
Oh, 7. Okay.
I think. I mean, I can't remember. I've been told. I mean, I can remember being there, and I can remember getting on the kit and started playing. And I remember I was really small, and the kit was really big, and I couldn't reach the toms. So I tried to hit a few toms, and I just the roadie, this guy Phil, my dad's roadie at the time, said, "Go play the drums, have fun with the drums." And so I went up there and started bashing away, and I just remember a whole bunch of people came in and the cameras all went on. I thought it was my dad warming up. And I just got off the kit and ran.
Oh, wow.
As far as I can remember. But someone's told me that there is a video of it because they had cameras there, but I've never seen the video. So I'm not sure if that's real or not. I've never been able to find it.
Yeah.
So it might just be some film guy, got it in his private collection or something,
Oh, wow.
My dad was obviously being the only son, he bought me this, kid's drum kit when I was, 3 years old, that was all paper heads and everything. And I smashed the hell out of it. It lasted a week, So my dad figured, okay, I'm going to teach him some rudiments and teach him, the real shit. And so he taught me all the rudiments, back in my day, there was 26 rudiments.
Okay.
But he made me learn them all right-handed, left-handed, and then all the variations of the rudiments.
Oh, wow.
Which if you're not a musician, you might not understand this, but if you're playing, say, in 16th notes, that means there's 16 beats in a bar. That means there's a 1 E and a 2. So there's 4 beats to a quarter note. So you can start your rudiment on the 1, you can start on the 1 E, you can start on the 1 and, you can start on the of 1. So you can start it in 4 different places.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so, every rudiment, there's 4 different ways of playing it. If it's in 16th notes, which is a lot of rudiments. So that makes a 26, 2,000. And then you can play every triplet rudiment in 16th notes, every 16th rudiment triplets. And that makes, multiple ridiculous amounts.
Right.
And you can, the rudiments are very important. And my dad made sure that I had an understanding of the rudiments before I was allowed to even get on a drum kit.
Oh, wow.
And I was talking to my girlfriend the other day, and I was like, you know what? My dad never gave me a drum kit. The only drum kit he ever bought me was the one when I was 3 that I smashed. I mean, the only reason I had drums when I was growing up is because my dad went single kick drum for a while.
Okay.
After the Air Force and stuff like that, he dropped a kick drum for some reason. I don't know why, because I think he got heavily into jazz. But so there was a kick drum, his spare kick drum, or the other kick drum was in the house, and his leady snare drum, which was his snare drum used through Cream.
Okay.
The snare drum he played for all Cream was leady before it became Ludwig. It's a really old one.
Okay.
So I had that snare drum, I had his kick drum, I had to find an old hi-hat, I found 2 old cymbals and 2 old cymbal stands, and that's all I had. And there's African drums all over the house, so I put the African drums beside the kit, and I used those as toms.
Oh, wow.
And that was my kit for pretty much until I was 13 or 14, when my dad left me the whole, Perspex kit that he had. He was using in the 70s. He left that because he got another kit or something, and somehow I managed to get hold of that kit, and that was my first ever drum kit. But I was like 13 or 14 before I actually got a real full drum kit. Everything else was just, kick, snare, hat, and a couple of cymbals. And he even took that snare drum away from me because he found out one time. I go, yeah, I'm using that black snare. He goes, the black one, the leady? I go, yeah. And he goes, you can't have that. You're too young to have that. I go, what do you mean? It's my only snare drum. He goes, look, I'll give you my snare drum I'm playing right now. It's this red and orange Perspex one. It's the spare snare to his Perspex kit, but he was using that all the time because it sounded better for some reason. He goes, look, I'll give you this because he had it on hand if you can give me the black leady one back. So, of course, I went home, and the next time I saw my dad, I gave him the black leady snare drum back, and he gave me this Perspex one, and he said, you can have the leady drum back when you're, old enough or when I'm dead.
Wow.
And unfortunately, now my dad's dead, I would love to have that snare drum, but unfortunately, his wife took everything. So I even put a message on Facebook that she sent me saying, deep down your dad never loved you, and I will never give you anything of his. You will not get a dime of his. I take it all.
Oh, my God.
So I was like, God. Nice. Very nice person.
Holy crap.
And that's why the last 10 years, that's why I did that Rolling Stone interview saying my dad's dead to me.
Yeah.
Because the last 10 years of my relationship with my dad, he hated me. And I was like, why? And it's because his wife was telling him the whole time that I hated him.
That's unbelievable.
Because she married him for the money, and she turned him against his entire family. I mean, even in the funeral, my dad's funeral, the only person that went to the funeral was his wife because she banned everybody else, even his sister, my dad's sister.
That's insane.
Yeah, but there you go. If you wanted everything.
Wow.
She called up, Clapton and all the people and tried to get them all to go there, and they're like, who is this?
Right. Yeah.
And I said to Cootsie when my dad died, I said, look, you need to give me his book, his Rolodex with all, Mick Jagger's number, Ronnie Wood, Eric's, Stevie's, everybody's number. I said, you need to give that to me so I can keep it safe, or maybe even destroy it, because that should not get into hands of anybody, especially an agent.
Right.
She's like, well, I'm going to give it to Ina, Ginger's agent. I'm like, no, that's not. My dad would never give his personal phone numbers to an agent. I don't trust agents.
Yeah.
Nina's an agent. The next thing I get from his wife is, if you don't trust Asians, I'm black. You must be racist.
Asians?
Like, what? So, obviously, talking to her is impossible. I don't know if she understands English or she just is really not bright, but she's, I don't know. I just wish that she would be nice to us and at least give me my dad's drums so I could at least get those, and put that snare drum in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and at least maybe get my dad's hi-hats, because I've got the set of hi-hats that my dad gave me when I was 10.
Oh, wow.
I still have them.
Wow.
So, those are the only things my dad, he gave me the hi-hats. There was 2 broken cymbals, and I had it was a hi-hat and a nice crash and a China Boy. And he took the China Boy and the crash back and gave me 2 broken cymbals.
Oh,
so I had 2 broken
cymbals. A pattern.
But, that was the thing. It was like, Dad, now my dad's dead. I would like to get those cymbals that I grew up with back, just the things that I grew up with, that I first started to play, the snare drum, the China Boy, just those things would mean so much to me. I would take the snare drum to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and put that in there so everybody could see it. And I know it'd be looked after. And, when I die, at least it's in the right place,
Yeah. What's she going to do with it? What's
she's going to sell it she's going to sell it to a private bidder, probably.
Man.
I mean, I want to get the word out there. Whoever buys it, can they please donate it to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Because that's where it should be.
Yeah.
But, I don't know who's going to buy it. I mean, whoever buys it is probably going to just want to keep it in their closet, or keep it in their little house for themselves.
Maybe not. Maybe somebody will be a good Samaritan and do the right thing and get it where it belongs.
I hope so. I mean, I really hope that's what happens in the end. I mean, It's the rightful place for it to be, you know. Yeah. I mean, I put the snare drum, the one that my dad played that gave to me, I took that to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so that's in there.
Oh, good.
You know, I at least got something of my dad's in there, you know, so that's in there. But I would like you know, I think the one from Cream would be more relevant to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I think
absolutely.
You know, even though that snare drum he played through the 70s and it was his drum and he did play it, but I think the Cream era is what my dad's most well known for. So
yeah, for sure.
You know, that would be the drum that should actually be there. But you know, we'll see. Time will tell.
It seems to me that being Ginger Baker's son really didn't help you much growing up.
Well, because my dad was never a kid person, for one.
Okay.
He didn't, you know, I mean, he didn't understand, you know, kids. He didn't like kids. You know, I mean, when I was a kid, I was like, there's a donkey. And I got smacked. That's not a donkey. That's a horse. You know, I mean, you couldn't you know,
wow.
You could, you know, my girlfriend's got a kid and I have no understanding of, because I grew up with no childhood, you know, I mean, I wasn't allowed to be a kid. I had to be, you know, I had to say the right things. I mean, my dad gave me a joint when I was 5 and I blew the end out and got smacked. No, you don't smoke a joint like that. You know, it was like,
oh my God.
You know, cocaine when I was 15, but that's because I got really sick and we had to do a drum duet. And the day of the drum duet, I'm sitting there in a chair going, Dad, I'm throwing up. I've got a headache. I can't move. And it's like, I can fix that. And chops a line of cocaine. Of course, my dad had the best cocaine, so it wasn't no crack cocaine.
Right.
This is good shit. So he gave me the big biro pen with the you know, I don't know if Americans know what a big biro pen is. You'd probably
no.
We had these see-through pens, big biro pens, and you could just take the filament out the middle and you just pop the end off and you've got a snorting straw.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Snorting straw. So my first line of cocaine was through a big biro pen, and I didn't even get the whole line up my nose because he chopped out a pretty big line, and I'm 15 years old, and I was as much as I can up there, you know, and I was like, whoa, you know, I mean, 15 years old, 15 on the first line of cocaine. I was at the gig and played it and was home before they even left. Fuck, man, it was like, I don't even remember the gig. I just remember playing my ass off and sweating so hard that I remember the next day I was cured. I mean, I burnt through that blue or whatever I had in one day.
Maybe that's how we get rid of the COVID.
Yeah, let's get everybody on cocaine. Screw this fucking masks and vaccination.
Yeah.
Just set someone up with a line of coke.
I think we've come up with the cure. All right. I've heard a couple of things. I've been trying to do as much research as I can. One of the funniest things I heard was that I thought, being so young, maybe one of your first memories was the old gray whistle test with your dad. But I did hear you say that it was actually getting lost in Eric Clapton's garden.
Yeah, and I really want to go back to Eric's house if I can get him to let me into his garden, because I'm sure it's the size of a postage stamp.
Right.
I know it's pretty small. I've heard it's pretty small, and I was talking to my sister about this, and it's like, it's weird. Like, my earliest memory is, but your earliest memories are when you're panicked. I was panicked. I was like, I'm lost. I don't know. I must have been 3 or 4. I don't even know how old I was. But I was very young, obviously old enough to stand up and walk around. But I remember getting lost, and I remember his dog coming. I remember some kind of like an archway with stuff on it. And I think it was just like one of those archways that vines grow on, you know, so it was like a lattice work or whatever archway. And I seem to remember that. And I remember the dog coming through and getting me. And then I remember one of my sisters finding me and brought me in. And that's why it was such a clear memory, because I was scared. I was like, oh no, I'm lost. I'm like, what's going to happen? But that's my earliest memory, you know. And I remember a lot of weird things from back then. I mean, we're talking England, so it's cold, you know, in the winter. And I remember being at someone's house. It was either Eric's or Robert Stigwood's or someone famous house, because they had this great big balloon in the back garden that was a swimming pool. And it was a great big, like, dome that was filled with hot air. And that's why it was up. And you unzipped it and you walked in, and there was a slide, and there was just drugs going on, and there was like naked people. And it was just like, it was just like unbelievable. And I was just like, whoa. And I was kicked out, obviously, because that was not the place. I mean, I thought that's where I should be, in a swimming pool with the slide.
Yeah.
But, no, that was the grown-ups with their drugs and having fun.
Yeah, you weren't 15 yet, so you weren't allowed in.
No, so yeah. So just, memories of being around the famous people and their absolutely outrageously lavish things, or whatever the word is, just real nice stuff that you just don't see people having, normally.
Right.
I thought it was normal for your walls to be, every wall in your house to be a different color, and gold discs. I thought gold and platinum discs was a normal thing that people had on their walls.
Wow.
Me and my sister used to look at those records and go, hang on a minute, there's 4 tracks on this album, but the label says 5. That's not the right album for the label. And it's like, what do? They just pick up any album, spray it gold, and stick the label on it? I mean, it's not even the right album.
I never thought about that.
I wonder what happened if you took one of those gold records and actually played them. I wonder what music would be on them.
Oh, whatever was just laying around, I guess. That is awesome. I never realized that. I never thought about that. I don't have too many of my own, so...
Right. Well, they might have changed that nowadays. I don't know, but I mean,
I don't know. How do you mount, a platinum download?
Right.
I don't know.
Well, when I was growing up, they had platinum tapes, didn't they? And
yeah.
Shit, all tapes and stuff. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. It gets smaller and smaller as the years go by.
And then CDs came out. Indestructible. These things will never break. They're crap. They skip. They're like useless. After 2 years, 3 years, they're done. They're finding out now that tapes are the best thing to preserve your music on.
Oh, really?
Hard drives, we don't know how long hard drives are going to last, but after 10 years, you want to back up your hard drive, because apparently after 10 years, they start losing stuff.
I hate having just downloaded stuff. It drives me up the wall.
Well, you know what the best thing for preserving literal work, writing and stuff is? The best way to preserve it forever?
What's that?
Stone.
Wow. Yeah, you went back farther than I was thinking. That's a good point. Stone,
and then next to stone would be paper.
Yeah.
Then all this stuff we got today doesn't last anywhere near as long as a stone tablet.
That's true. Look how many things we find in caves.
Right, well, exactly. You see, that's the thing. I mean, we had better technology back then,
Yeah.
We're writing it in stone. Well, what wasn't there? There was 15 commandments, wasn't there? But he dropped one of the tablets. So he was very I think that's a Monty Python
Mel
sketch.
Brooks or something. Yeah, that was crazy. You had some rough times growing up, and it was just kind of amazing to me to find out. You think?
Well, see, for me, it wasn't rough because I didn't know any different. So, being evicted from my house was kind of fun. The first time it was kind of exciting,
Wow.
And I was kind of smart. I was a real smart kid. I was like, I worked in a radio controlled car store when I was like 12, 13, 14, repairing their cars.
Oh, wow.
I was always knew how to fix stuff, and I was always building things and fixing stuff. Maybe because I had to build my first kit, and I don't know. I was just always building stuff. It runs in my family. My dad's a builder. If you see the stuff my dad's built, it's insane.
Wow.
The house in Colorado that he put the roof on himself. He built the porch. He put the gate up,
Oh, my God.
Built the stables, everything. He built all that himself, and it's still there.
Wow.
But so, I was a smart kid, so I just made it work. And for me, it was like, when we got evicted, I thought, okay, hang on a minute. We're getting evicted. We got double glazing. I don't know if you know what double glazing is. Mm-hmm. It's in the old houses in England, you had a window that was the old lattice work window that had a handle, close it. And then you had double glazing on the inside to insulate it.
Right.
So what I did was I opened the double glazing. I put the handle so it looked like it was closed, but it wasn't closed. And I put the double glazing down so it didn't click. So when we got evicted from my house and we're all sitting outside the house and they've locked it all up and the police leave and we're going, oh, shit. And my mum's going, oh, crap. I go, give me 5 minutes. And I climbed up the side of the house, climbed up the way I knew how to get into my bedroom and got into the window and let everybody in. And we squatted our own house for 6 months.
That's incredible.
Now, I don't know if you know, Americans know about squatting. So, you know, squatting is when you, in London, you find a house that's derelict or abandoned and you get into it. Now, if you break into it, you have to repair what you broke into because you want to make it look like there's no one in there.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the police find out, you've got like 3 to 6 months before the police can actually get you out. So, you know, squatters' rights, they called it.
Yeah.
So
we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. It's similar here, and it's funny because if you can actually claim the house as your own if you've established residency there, like you start getting your mail there and stuff. It's insane.
Well, okay. Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I know in renting that I rented out a warehouse, had a warehouse I was renting. I sublet half of the warehouse out, and that was hell because, you know, I had people that said, I'm not paying you. Well, take your stuff out. You touch my stuff and I'll have the cops arrest you. So it's like, well, what am I supposed to do? You're screwed. You're going to have to go through the courts. It's going to take you 6 months to get me out, and you're going to have to pay a lot of money. So I had to make deals with these people. Okay, man, I'll give you free rent and I'll do this for you. Just, can you, you know, I'm broke. Can you just send pity on me and leave? Give me, you know, leave in 3 months. And I had to do all kinds of, like, you know, give them my parking spot for their car.
Oh my
for
God.
6 months, so that, you know, they would leave and all kinds of stuff. So I know that renting is kind of hard. I would never do it again, but
right. God.
But anyway, so squatted. So we used to squat. So I was 14 when we got evicted the second. Oh, I was just turned 15 when we got evicted the second time. 14 the first time. The second time they came back. Now I'd gone to Italy to see my dad. My dad lived in Italy at the time.
Okay.
I'd gone to Italy and they came back. The bailiffs came back and they threw us out of the house. But this time they threw everything, all the contents of the house out of the windows onto and it was snow. It was winter.
Oh.
And my bedroom was a floor on the second floor. So they threw my TV. They ripped all the posters off the wall. They just ripped them off. And they crunched everything up on my TV. They threw everything out the window. So all my stuff was smashed to pieces. So when I finally got back from Italy, I had nothing. I went to the warehouse where my mum had finally got a job and you know, put all the stuff that she could in the warehouse. And all my stuff was just toast. It was, you know, trash. So the only thing I had that was rescued was my drum kit. So when I squatted, when I went on the streets, all I had, my Atari. The only thing I had was my Atari survived and my drum kit. And then someone stole my Atari unit. So then I started tying my drums to me. So when I'd go to sleep, I'd tie all my drums to me. So if anybody tried to steal a drum, it'd wake me up.
Oh, my God.
So, you know, but for me, it was kind of fun because I was 15 years old, just turned 15, had no school, no parents, you know, and I found this studio in Acton in London, and the guy was my dad's manager. I found out later he was ripping my dad off the whole time.
Oh, geez.
I thought he was such a nice guy for taking me in and let me stay in his studio. Wow, what a nice guy. But he was ripping my dad off for thousands upon thousands of pounds at the time. So now I don't feel so bad about, you know, him me up.
Oh, my gosh.
And he's the guy that's got all my dad's gold discs.
Oh.
So he turned up at my mum's house when I was like 14, right before we got evicted, and just took all the gold discs and says, your father's discs, you know, discs, and they kind of goes to the studio. And he took them all. And my dad was like, well, I, you know, didn't, you know, let him do this. And apparently my dad wanted this back and he hid all the discs. So he's got, and his daughter's got them now. So I spoke to his daughter and they've got all of my dad's gold discs and all of his stuff, and they will not give it to us. And they are holding it to sell them when they can find a place to sell them. That because I don't know. I suppose they've got them. So it's funny. Like,
it's insane.
Throughout my entire dad's life, I've ended up with nothing. I mean, after he's died, his wife's taken everything. You know, all of the drums, everything. I've got nothing of my dad's anymore, and I won't receive anything. I've been told to cut out the will and cut out everything, and I haven't seen anything. So I believe it. I even had to try and get hold of the executors and send them an email and trying to say, look, you know, and I never got an email back from them. And then I think I did get one email back from them saying, well, the law says that if it's personal, if it's your personal stuff, it all goes to her. She gets everything. So I was like, well, there you go.
Oh,
You know?
God. That's
why the executives, that's why they never reached out. I was wondering why people were saying, yeah, the executives should reach out to you if you're in the will. And I was like, well, I would have thought I'd be in the will, but apparently not. And there was some article in the English paper saying that we were in the will, but apparently there's some clauses that make it so that when the money does come through, me and my sisters get a percentage, but it's so small it gets eaten up by the other bills that has to be paid. So apparently, Kutsi ended up, she changed the will like 5 years before my dad died and cut us all out of it.
That's
so.
I don't even have words for that.
It seems to happen a lot, though. It seems.
Really?
It's not just. I mean, rich, or famous people end up, really old, and some young girl goes, "Yeah, hey, I'll be your lover if you give me everything."
Yeah.
And they're like 80 years old or 70 years old, and they're like, "Well, yeah, what the hell? I want to have sex with a young girl, so here, have everything." They give them everything, and then when they die, their family's like, "What?"
There's a lot of those stories out in. I think it was Anna Nicole Smith did the same thing, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's a prime example of it. And the kids had to go to court and fight tooth and nail for just the dribbles.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I mean, in places like Holland, you're not allowed to do that. Your family, by law, no matter what your will says, your family by law get a cut of your will.
Oh, wow.
If they're your family. So you can't cut your family, which I think should be the case. If you're going to have kids, I don't have any kids, but if you're going to have kids, you should want to help them out, and you should want to at least help them out when you die, give them your stuff. I mean, and that was the problem with my dad. He didn't understand that kind of thing. So no one really knows I exist because my dad never said anything about me. I've seen constant interviews on my dad about drumming and everything. You take someone like Max Weinberg, or who's the guy that's son, Wolfgang, who plays bass?
Eddie Van Halen.
So even like Zappa with Dweezil. All the parents normally help their kids out in the music. It's like if your dad was a glass blower, you'd go into the glass blowing business, and your dad would teach you the secrets, and you would take the business on, and you would keep that going for the family tradition. So for me, playing drums was like, I always wanted to make my dad proud, and I was always sitting there practicing and trying to get all my dad's licks and play as good as I wanted to be better than my dad. So I wanted to prove to my dad that I could do it, and that was all. What I always ever wanted from my dad was just for him to be proud of me. And I never got that. I never got that back from him until he died. The day he died, I went to see him in the hospital, and that was the one day that I was just like, I hadn't seen him for years and years. I mean, I think saw him for one day in 2014, and I hadn't seen him for like 5 years before that. So it would be like 10 years or something, and I was like, I finally got to see him in the hospital, and he had a second wind. It was right before, he went down again. He was actually up, and I got to talk to him, and he actually laughed with me and smiled with me. And when I told him I was learning Blue Condition, he was like happy. And I was just like, wow, finally, my dad is acknowledging me, and he's proud of the fact that I want to keep his, legacy going. And it was funny because Kutsi said to me, his dad's wife said to me in the hospital, said, your dad would want you to have his drums and wants you to keep it going. And I was like, yeah, I mean, of course, that's what I want to do for my dad. I want to keep my family legacy going as long as I can. That's why it was weird after he died that she completely changed. But, I suppose there you go. So, it was such a shame because it was Sunday and I was like, it was like Tuesday, I think. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to get to, I'm on the road in London. So I saw my dad for that one day. And then I went onto the road and I was up in Scotland and touring. And I was like, I'm not going to be back down to London for 6 days. So I'm going to come back and see you in 6 days. And then I'm going to move my plane ticket and I'm going to stay in London with you for as long as I can, and be with you. And he died the Sunday and I was meant to go see him on the Monday. So he died the day before I went back to go see him.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
And apparently the whole time even from Kutsi saying, your dad was calling for you the whole time. Goes, where's Kofi? Where's Kofi? And I was like, it's so ironic. Look, you know, my dad wasn't there for me when I needed him, and then I wasn't there for my dad at the end. You know?
Oh man!
But you know, there you go. It's, you know,
but now
that's how it worked.
I know he wasn't always terrible. Now he actually kidnapped you once, right?
Right. Well, that was the thing. I mean, he did care.
Yeah.
He just didn't know how to do it. So what he did was, it was insane. It was like one day my dad picks me up from school. And I'm like, what's going on? And it's like, you know, and then picks up my sister, and me and my sister are in a car heading to my grandma's house on my dad's side.
Okay.
And we're like, we don't have any clothes. We don't have anything. He goes, I'll get you some clothes. He bought us a set of clothes, you know, and then just dropped us at my grandma's house and left. And he was gone.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I remember I was really depressed and I didn't know what was going on. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna, I was outside the house. I didn't know where I was. And I just started walking down the street, and I'm just going to walk. I'm just going to keep walking and just see where I end up. I just was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where I am. And I kept walking, and someone saw me walking down the street and pulled their car over and go, oh, you Kofi, and come and took me back. And I was like, oh, well. And I was just, I don't know what would have happened, but I wanted to get away. All I know in my mind was, I just want to get away from everything, because my mum was nuts. What happened was, there were social workers brought in, you know, with all the beatings and everything that was going on. And
oh, God.
My mom was beating the shit out of us. And I'd get home and it was just weird. I'd get in the car, and there would be, my friends would be with me coming, you know, being picked up from school. And I go, Mum, can you drop my friends to the station? It was on the way home. Sure, yeah. We all got in the car. We pulled up to the station. They all got out. As soon as that door closed, the next thing I know, my head's fucking hitting the dashboard, smashing into the dashboard. I'm like, what's going on? And she's driving the car into oncoming traffic.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, oh, my God, it's like nightmare. And then my sister's standing at the garage. When she pulls in and she accelerates at my sister jumps out of the way and she hits the garage door and then drags me out of the car, grabs my sister, punches my sister down to the ground, and then grabs us, brings us into the house and just beats the shit out of us. I mean, I got beaten so bad that I was beaten, and I was like next to this double freezer, and we had these rabbits. And what I didn't know is the rabbits had chewed through the cable, the electrical cable, and the deck chair was wrapped around this cable, and it's behind the freezer. And I remember I was just in the corner beside the freezer, and I grabbed the deck chair that's behind the freezer. And the next thing I remember, I'm flying around the room. So, and then I remember, you know, it let go of me, because it obviously, you know, let go. And I just remember crawling along the floor to the stairway where there's a balcony, and seeing, it was almost like Star Wars. It was like, you know, my mum and my sister just going at it, you know, punches and smashing each other against walls. Oh my God. So, I mean, that was my life. So it was like, you know, and then my dad, you know, there were social workers brought in, and social workers, I don't know what happened, but the social worker asked us, you know, do you love your dad? And I'm like, yeah, we love our dad. Yeah. So then the social worker would leave, and my mum would come in and beat the crap out of us. You said you loved your dad, bash, bash, bash. You know, why would the social worker tell my mum? They got to have some kind of, you know, understanding of what's going on. But
yeah,
you know,
but I mean, that's just insane. I mean, well, I just don't understand how a parent would expect a child to say that they didn't love the other parent.
It gave me good timing, because she used to beat me with a drumstick. Oh. You know, she had this big, like military drumstick. Oh my God. She used to beat me with that. So, I mean, I think that was good for me, because it gave me a sense of time, you know, being beaten, you know, like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my God. You know, I mean, my dad wasn't much better. I mean, I'm going to write a book, because I've got so much stories. I mean, my dad, I went to Italy the time I'm telling you about, when we got evicted, and I saved up. I was 14 years old, working in a nightclub, collecting glasses and washing the glasses to make money to buy enough drumsticks. So when I went to Italy, I'd have a whole bag of drumsticks to go there. Okay. So I saved up the money, bought the drumsticks, turned up to Italy, and my dad looked at my drumsticks. There were 2 S's. If you know anything about drumming, 2 S's are huge. They're like military sticks. Oh, okay. Well, my dad used 7 A's, which are like tiny, like matchsticks. Anyway, so my dad picked up all my drumsticks and goes, fucking navvy poles, and threw them in the stufa. A stufa is a Italian cooking fire.
Oh, wow.
So he burnt all my sticks in front of me and gave me a pair of these 7As. And I'm like, I busted my ass to buy those sticks.
Oh.
You know, that was like 2 or 3 weeks of busting my ass collecting glasses in a nightclub that I shouldn't have been in because I was 14.
Right.
You know, but I somehow convinced them because I was on the streets. I convinced them that, you know, please just give me a job. And, you know, I was like, it was hilarious because they used to have riots in this club and the glasses were all plastic and they used to throw them and smash them. And I was going around like a little 14-year-old kid grabbing all these glasses from people so they wouldn't smash them with these great big towering stacks of glasses going around in the middle of the riot, getting all the glasses off the floor.
Oh my God.
You know, picking up. I mean, when I did a job, I did it as best. I put 100% into it, no matter what the job was. You know, because I've had a lot of day job stuff around, you know, my music because I've been broke all the time. You know, I've done, you know, put fence posts in and, you know, when people employ me, they're like, wow, because I work my ass off. When I do a job, I do it. I put 100% in.
Yeah,
you know? So, you know, I really took that job and really did a good job on it. And I couldn't believe that my dad burnt all my sticks.
Oh.
But there you go, whatever. I
am amazed that you're such a well-adjusted, happy person.
Oh, I'm not.
Yeah. You come across as one.
Ask my girlfriend and her kid about me. I'm a mess. I mean, I'm okay, but I have no idea about kids, and I have no idea how to be around kids. I have no concept of how a kid has food cooked for them and has stuff given to them. And, you know, I was cooking my own food from age 10.
Yeah, you barely had that when you were a kid, so. Yeah,
so that's what I have no understanding of that kind of stuff, you know. But, you know, I think pot has a lot to do with being happy for me. You know, I'm a pothead and I eat it. I don't smoke it, but I kind of need it. It centers me. You know, if I'm driving my car and I'm straight, I'm from Europe, so we use our turn signals and we let people in and we drive courteously. Yeah. And I'm driving in America and I'm like, really? Why are you not why do you cut me off without using your turn signals? Why are you like racing up behind me, you know, and then cutting me off to get to a red light? And then why is this?
To get one car length ahead of you.
Yeah. When I'm stoned, I'm like, go ahead.
Yeah.
You don't have to use your turn signal. Do whatever you want to do. I don't care. You know, you can cut me off. You know, I'll back off. I'll let you, you know, push me back. I don't care. But the driving out here is very exciting.
Oh, it's
because it's like it's in England, in Europe. I mean, in Europe, you have an autobahn with no speed limit because you have a rule, and that's slower traffic, keep right. Mm-hmm. But you don't have any signs. There's not one sign saying slower traffic, keep right, except for all the traffic's in the right lane, and they're only going to the left to pass, and they're going to the far left to pass someone passing, and then they all back into the right. Yeah. Now, you go to America, and there's signs, slower traffic, keep right, slower traffic, keep right, but you're passing on the right because that's the fastest lane in America. Everybody gets on the freeway, hits the left lane, and cruises.
They just go wherever they want.
If you want to go fast, get in that right lane and pass everybody. Yeah. So in America, you got cars coming from both sides into one middle lane. You got them from the left and the right, and you got them not using their turn signals. So, I mean, I got a camera in my car, and I got videos of car accidents, people rolling their cars in front of me, and I'm just like, I mean, I never saw this until I came to America.
It's a crazy place, man.
It is. It's exciting. I like the driving here because it's not like England where you can predict what everybody's going to do on the road. Out here, you have excitement. You have whoa, what's that car going to do? Is he going to go left or right? He's at a stop sign. I mean, I'm stupid. I bought a house right next to a stop sign on the corner. Oh. So when I eat my breakfast, all I can see is cars not using the turn signals, running stop signs. I've seen 2 accidents outside my house. 2. And I'm like, I even told this woman, I said, if you keep running through, driving down, you see, in California, where I grew up most of my adult life, you can't go down an alleyway to cut off between streets. It's illegal. You can't cut through. In Indiana, an alleyway is a street. I even asked the cops, what's the name of this alleyway? Well, there's no name, but it's a street. You're allowed to do whatever you want, you know. Because I live on this alleyway, and I'm the only driveway that backs onto this alleyway. All my other neighbors that don't have an alleyway. So I'm the only one that needs this little short part of the alleyway. And this idiot neighbor of mine got pissed off with me and started rotating around my house, revving his car in front of my house and stuff. God. So I was like, okay, idiot, you know, I'll just park my car in the middle of the driveway, in the middle of the alleyway, because it's not blocking anybody.
Yeah.
So he calls the cops on me, you know, and cops tell me I have to move my car. I'm like, who am I blocking? Yeah. I'm not blocking anybody. I'm the only driveway that enters onto this short piece of alleyway between these two streets. I'm not causing any problems. Well, this is a street. You can't park a car there. So I'm like, okay, all right. So he won. He's allowed to pass my house as much as he wants, revving his car.
So I've got so many questions still for you. I want to know a little bit more about how you got into being a professional drummer in the first place. You're homeless. You're 14, 15 years old, tying your drums.
That's what I was doing. I was playing with Kessel Smith, John Etheridge.
Yeah.
They were all jazzers. Randy California.
Yep. Steve Waller.
You know. I was playing with all these people when I was 14 because that was how I was making my money. That's what I was getting my money from. I was playing pubs. And again, that they used to say there was a midget on drums because I wasn't allowed in the club or the bar. And they used to say, isn't he a kid? They go, no, he's just a midget. And they put me behind, put me behind the drums and, you know, not let me, you know, mingle with people because I was 14, 15 years old playing these bars, you know, for my money. I mean, when the people, I can't remember what they're called, the people at, you know, school people, you're not going to school, you know, they track you down.
They go, truant officers.
Right. You got to go into a home. You got to be taken care of. Yeah. And I'd be like, you know what, they found me somehow. I don't know how they found me. And I said, look, you know, no, I'm fine. Just leave me alone. I've got money coming in. I've got a place to stay. I'm living in this studio. I mean, I lived on the drum riser. I used to sleep on the drum riser. And, you know, then I wake up, I used to eat my breakfast on my snare drum and practice until the band came in. And then my job was to set the band up, put the mics up, make sure the PA worked, make sure the band was good. Then when the band left, I put my kit back up from the corner and set it and play it for a few hours until the next band came in. And when the band left for the night, I'd play all night. So I was happy camper. Yeah. You know, I was like, all I had was my drums and that was it. I mean, I had no parents to tell me what to do. So I was a bit of a mess. You know, I was obviously didn't really understand stuff. I lived in a studio where they dealt drugs and had music. And, you know, I mean, I was heading out the studio one day. This is my dad's studio he built with some of his cream money. Anyway, I was heading out this little door in this big doors. And there's a little door that you get through to get out. And I opened the door and a whole bunch of cops pushed me against the wall. And like, there was a stairway and it was like a Monty Python sketch. There were so many cops entering the building and they all bunched up against each other and couldn't get in. There were so many and it was a small place. And, you know, they obviously busted the place. We got 15-year-old kids and I got strip searched and everything. Luckily, I didn't have anything on me. I was lucky for some reason.
Wow.
But remember after all the police left, the guy, the studio guy goes, okay, they left. Go, yeah, and then so he pulls out his lump of hash that he's stashed, you know. And kind of stuff. Like, oh, great, Roy, you got some hash, great.
Back in business.
Yeah, so it was just, you know, it was fun. I mean, I had a good time. It wasn't a bad time for me. I had a good time. So, you know.
How did you start?
What was the question? I forgot what the question was. How did I start?
How did you start recording with bands? The Now. I mean, is that your first recording credit?
Well, my first recording credit was when I was 14, and I did this album, a single called, what was it called? I Can't Believe We're on Eve of Destruction. It was a song that was a cover.
Okay, yeah.
Eve of Destruction, yeah. And so I recorded this single when I was 14, and that was my first recording thing. Wow. And then from then on, it was like, you know, like I said, Dick Edsel Smith, John Etheridge. I joined Steve Marriott's band when I was 18. Yeah. You know, so I was playing in clubs. I was playing in clubs for a living from 14, and I was playing in clubs, and I was 18, still playing, and I was playing in cover bands. And somehow Steve Marriott's manager happened to walk in the club when their drummer had just left. And he goes, who's this guy? He's really fucking good. And they said, this is Kofi, it's Ginger Baker's guy. It's Ginger Baker's son. He goes, I've got to get this guy to Steve. And he introduced me to Steve Marriott. And Steve was really funny because I was young. And he was hiding all the pot and hiding everything. And I was like, no, man, I love pot. And Steve was like, oh, great. You know, pulled out his big joint because Steve was loved his joints. And so, you know, I hit it off with him and I ended up in his band and we had such a great time. And he was like my dad to me. He was so good to me. He taught me all my professionalism on stage.
Oh, wow.
To put this bald-headed, fat little has-been down. Take it home, baby.
What to do, if you know, and how to play and how to attitude to have, you know, like one of the best things he taught me was when you're on stage, you got to put good vibes out to everybody. So if you're having a hard time, you're having a bad day, or you're not feeling it, you got to smile and not let anybody else know on stage that you're having a bad day. And if your bass drum pedal falls off or something, play on the floor, Tom. Don't let everybody even know you've lost your kick drum. You know,
oh, wow.
Professionalism is making the show, making everybody else on stage not knowing that you've broken a stick and you've dropped a stick, or you've drum head's broken, or, you know, or you've broken a string or something like that. You break a string, just carry on playing like nothing's happened. That was all the stuff he taught me, which was all came from Steve. Was, you know, I mean, that's the sad thing. My dad could have taught me all this stuff, but I had to learn it from everybody else I worked with. You know, I mean, I had to learn a lot of my dad's drumming from listening to CDs and stuff.
Wow.
I mean, some of my dad's best drumming is Air Force.
Yeah.
You know, that's his best work, I think. Cream, he was peaking. Blind Faith, he was getting near his peak. And Air Force, he was at his peak.
Yeah.
You know, that was when he was playing the best shit. And that's what I listened to. And I listened to his drum fills and I listened to his playing. I think, man, Dad, why did you, you know, why did I have to work so hard to get lessons from you? You know, did you not teach me a lot of this stuff? You know, I mean, okay, he taught me pretty much everything, but he didn't teach me how he applied it. You know, he would teach me triplets, he would teach me the rudiments, he would teach me everything that he learned, but he didn't really teach me he did teach me how he applied it, but he didn't teach me everything. And I wanted, you know, there was some fills that I heard later on in my life. It was like, you never showed me that.
Yeah.
And you never showed me that. I mean, I know what you're doing because it's an offshoot of this, what you taught me, and I can see what you're doing, but you never taught me that way of doing it and putting it in that way and doing that. And I was like, man, I mean, you know, that's one of my things that I wish my dad had done with me. I wish he'd taken me under his wing like Steve did. And like a lot of people in my life have done, you know, professional musicians that have really helped me out. I mean, Steve Marriott he taught me all of my professional stage, everything you know on stage. I mean, I was with Steve for quite a while. I was with him for like a year and I toured, you know, Europe and everything with him. And he just went off and did an album with Peter Frampton and went to America to do an album with Peter Frampton. And I went to America to do a solo project with Malcolm, Jack Bruce's son. And,
was that Lost City?
And, it was Lost City, exactly. And then when I got back from doing that Lost City album, actually it was before Lost City. It was right before Lost City. It was when me and Malcolm, first a guy called Mac Folk put us together, and it was right before Scotty Brothers Records signed us, which was Lost City.
Okay.
So it was the first time I went to America, and I just finished playing with Steve, and I said, Steve, I love playing with you, but I want to do original music. I want to go do my own career. And I went and did that, and then Steve did this album with Peter Frampton, and he tried to get me on it, and Peter called me up and said, yeah, I want you to do it, and send me some of your stuff. And I sent him a bunch of my jazz stuff, and Peter was like, well, you a jazz player? I'm like, yeah. And to this day, Peter Frampton, last time I spoke to him, said, yeah, it was great jamming with you. And I was like, did we jam together? I don't remember jamming together. I thought I didn't play with you, but maybe I did. I don't know. Maybe it's one of the people who got up on stage with Steve, you know.
Yeah,
when I was playing with Steve. But you know, so then I got back to, Steve got back to America, and he called me up and said, look, I'm putting the band back together. You want to be in it? And I said, sure. I just done this American thing with my own thing. It didn't work out too well. I was broke as hell. My van's breaking down, you know. My van's on its last legs. I need some money. Put me on the gigs. He's like, you're on.
Oh, wow.
He flew back Friday night, and Tony and his wife, they had a rented car, and they got to the place where his car was, and it was a friend's house. And Steve said, I'm going on to my bungalow. And Tony was like, I'm too tired. I'm staying here. So Steve went on by himself because he wanted to sleep in his bed. And he didn't have any roll-ups. Steve always used to smoke roll-ups. And roll-ups go out when you drop them.
Okay.
He had a cigarette. And he was smoking a cigarette, and he fell asleep like he always did. And Tony wasn't there to put it out. And it was a cigarette, and it caught fire to his chair. And in his house, there was two doors. One was his closet. One was the door out. And unfortunately, it was an old bungalow house. It was an old cottage house, and the floor leant to the left. And his closet was the left, and the right was the door out. And they found him in his closet.
Oh.
So, you know, smoking laces. So he obviously woke up in the smoke and got to the door, opened the door, and collapsed in the closet. And that's where he was found.
Wow.
And he brought back a pair of purple Converse because I had purple hair. So he used to call me Purple Baker. My dad was Ginger Baker. He had red hair. I was called Purple Baker. I had purple hair.
Okay.
So he bought me a pair of purple Converse shoes from America that survived the fire because Tony had them. I think she had them, and they gave them to me. And I was like,
wow.
I kept him kept him in a drawer. Unfortunately, when my mum died, my sister cleaned out the house, and I don't know what happened because those bands, along with my dad's rice cymbal that he played through Cream, the original rice cymbal he played all through Cream, all through Blind Faith. Wow. Oh, I think it cracked at the end of Cream. It cracked at the end of Cream. So it's through all of the best Cream stuff was that rice cymbal. When he left at the house, and I use it as a practice cymbal because it's cracked.
Yeah.
But it was a Kiljan Zildjian. It was made in Turkey. It would have been worth a fortune even just being cracked and being a Turkish-made Kiljan Zildjian cymbal. Not even the fact that it was Cream and my dad's.
Wow.
That ended up in a landfill somewhere.
Oh.
I don't know what happened to it. Because my mum's house was cleaned out and my sister didn't know what this stuff was. And
yeah,
we don't know if people came in there and stole stuff. We think they did. We don't know. But all of the stuff went missing. All of the stuff that meant anything to me went missing. So,
oh, God, this is heartbreaking.
You know, lost all that. So there you go.
Well, one of the first times I remember hearing you, I mean, you've played in some incredible bands like Mojo, Jonas Hellborg with Sean Lane. That album
I was young. I was 25 when that.
Oh, the Abstract Logic is incredible. I mean, Rights with the Angels is just a magical song. Incredible.
That was a single kick drum too. I was single kick drum. I didn't play double that time. They didn't have double pedals out, and I dabbled with double kick drums, but I never. My dad always said, I don't want to see you playing double kick drums if you mastered one, and I never felt that you could master one. I felt it was too much to learn. So all that Abstract Logic and all that stuff was all single kick drum until like 27, 28, I got a double pedal, and then I started playing double kick. I played double kick drums, I think, a little bit in Lost City. I think it was double kick drums in Lost City, but I went back to the single kick drum. So the Abstract Logic was all single kick. Because my dad's double kick drum work, and this is what I was speaking to a drummer the other day about this. My dad led with his left foot because of the hi-hat, jazz drummers. Now, if you're not a musician, you won't know this, but, you know, jazz is all about the left foot. It's basically like this. If you learn to drive an automatic car, and you've been driving that automatic car for 10 years, and then someone puts you in a stick shift, you can't drive that car.
No.
Same thing with drums. You know, if you've been learning to play drums without that hi-hat, you're playing rock and that left foot's just sitting there on the hi-hat, and you've learned how to play all these beats and all these fills, and then someone comes, well, let's get that left foot in there. You're like, whoa, now you can't play any of the beats you played because now all the students I had have been playing drums 5 or 10 years. I couldn't teach them all the left foot technique that my dad used because it was too hard for them, because they couldn't even play a rock beat with the left foot in there. And it was like, now if you'd learn to play the left foot, because I got a book out called The Forgotten Foot. Now, any drummers got to buy this book. It's on Amazon. It's called Forgotten Foot, because it teaches you how the left foot becomes so much more useful. Because if you learn it with the hi-hat on eighth notes, quarter notes, upbeats, all you do is you put that foot from the hi-hat to the left foot pedal on the bass drum, and you have all that technique. And that's what all of those songs that were, all those double bass drum songs that my dad did. Yeah. He led with his left foot. His left foot went from the hi-hat to the kick drum, and his right foot played around his left foot, playing the downbeats. Oh, wow. And that was his secrets to all his beats. So, you know, when I was later on teaching this stuff, I couldn't believe the only students I could really get to learn this was the ones from the beginning, or the ones that were good enough drummers that had learned the left foot from the beginning, or the ones that were learned rock players, you know, their left foot did nothing and they couldn't learn it. So it was like, you know, taking those people from the automatic and putting them in a stick shift. And they were like, this is too difficult. Give me my automatic back, you know? So I say if you're a drummer, buy that book. It's on Amazon, Forgotten Foot, Hal Leonard. And that's you know, it will really help you out for double bass drum technique, because it's just so much easier in every way when you're using your left foot leading on the downbeat. Oh yeah, and then I mean the music that you were doing at that time. I mean, so we mentioned Mojo and this Riddle House, but the first thing that I remember seeing you as a part of was Chris Poland's band Ohm. Oh yeah, and I love. Well, I mean, I was a huge Chris Poland fan from the Megadeth days, and when I found out he was doing Ohm, bought up all that stuff, and so you ended up on the Amino Acid Flashback album, and you know the Amino Acid Flashback. You know where that comes from? Where's that? Well, I was drinking amino acid a lot my working out days, so I was like training and stuff, and I was always used to carry this amino acid with me and swig it. Okay. And Chris is amino acid, and it was like, you know, I have a flashback. So, and I was like, yeah, we should call. I think I said we should call it about amino acid. He's go, I got a flashback with that, and so we amino acid flashback, and that's how that title came to be. And I co-wrote that entire album. Odd time signatures, all that weird stuff. Chris would come out of a riff and go, what's this time is this in? And I go, oh, it's a 7. And I go, we can polyrhythm into that, from that idea into that idea, and we can put this together. And then, wow, you know, when the album came out, it's written by Chris Poland Ohm, and I get no royalties. And I was like, damn it. But anyway, there you go. I mean, the drummers, we don't get shit. Look at my dad. He didn't get writing credits for White Room, the 5/4 Bolero, which was my dad. Yeah. He didn't get credits for the beat that made Sunshine of Your Love. That song is made like Stuart Copeland. You could take Stuart Copeland off Police stuff and it wouldn't be the same. Oh, no. Stuart Copeland made the Police what they were, and Stuart Copeland gets no writing royalties for that shit. That's such a shame, man. You know, so it's like, you know, except for now, the Chili Peppers and Queen, they split it all equally. Oh, did they? You know, yeah. And Chili Peppers, they split it all equally, no matter who writes the song. Because Queen, what happened was Queen was like, my dad, people don't know this about my dad. He could write out the trumpet parts, the bass parts for anything. Oh, wow. He could write treble clef, he could write bass clef, he could write the stuff out. He was musically trained. He taught me to read music when I was 14. He knew his shit. So he was writing songs. Eric was writing songs and Jack was writing songs. Now, of course, they got together. Okay, we've all, you know, had 2-3 weeks of writing songs. My dad would show up with a couple of songs. Eric would show up with a couple of songs. Jack would show up with 2,000 songs. You know, and it would be like, okay, it's a Jack Bruce album,
Right.
you know, because Jack would just be, you know, he'd just write all the fucking stuff and everything.
Yeah.
And then Pete Brown would write all the lyrics. You know, so Pete Brown and Jack pretty much got a lot of the royalties from everything. I know there was something that went down when I was seeing my dad in Italy about the royalties, because Robert Stigwood, the management for Cream, was still taking 20%. And, you know, even though they didn't even exist anymore, I don't even think he was even alive, but the management company was still creaming off 20% of the royalties.
Wow.
And, you know, Eric and my dad did some kind of deal to get their royalties, you know, get some of their royalties. That's why Eric was really, I mean, I told Eric, and I, you know, Eric to me is like the guy who helped my dad out the most. He was there for my dad for his entire life. I mean, I heard stories from Eric about, you know, when my dad was drunk and he would show up at his house and all kinds of stuff. And and, you know, I mean, Eric was there for my dad. He bailed my dad out constantly for his life. And I've told Eric this, and I'll tell him again, you know, to me, Eric, I look up to you because you were there for my dad.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he tried to help us out, but, you know, towards the end, I know he tried to help us out, but Kutsi, you know, bypassed it all, his wife, and it all went to, you know, her tribes in Africa and stuff. I mean, because my dad was broke at the end, and he shouldn't have been broke.
Yeah. No, yeah.
He shouldn't have. He was, you know, Ina, the agent, and he just, all the bad people in the world that could possibly get around my dad got around him in the last 10 years and just took advantage of him and just milked him to the end of put the last nails in his coffin. Yeah. And my sister was trying to protect my dad from these agents and these people. And there's even a Facebook page that the agent has put up with my dad saying, my sister blocked me from the Ginger Baker page. My daughter blocked me from the Ginger Baker page, and it's not the Ginger Baker page anymore. And because Ina and Kutsi pushed my dad, and my sister said, no, you can't do that. And so they told my dad to cut ties with Nettie. And Nettie was doing all my dad's media. She started the Facebook page. She was doing all the media for him. So it's just like, screw you. I'm not giving you the Facebook page. Yeah. I'm going to keep it going as the family. Yeah, and block my dad, because my dad was, Ina and his wife were doing all the work for my dad. It wasn't my dad. This is what you got to realize, that if you go to that Facebook page, I don't know what it's called. It's called Ginger Baker Official Page. And it's got first thing is a video of my dad going, oh, this is not real and it's fake. It's my dad basically just pissed off with my sister because, you know, we had a very volatile family, and just trying to put my sister, Ina and Kutsi coaxing my dad to, you know, put my sister down. So that's all it really was. It was just, you know, them saying, yeah, say this and say this. And you could even tell, I know my dad, and you could even tell they were telling him what to say. And my dad was so pushed over by that time, he didn't know what to do. Kutsi had him, you know, he's mine, and she would, you know, he was scared of her. He was scared. I mean, my sister's got emails and stuff when my dad going, help me, you know, help me, get me. And he was scared to leave because he couldn't go anywhere because she had complete power of attorney over him. She had complete control. He'd lost everything. Oh, God. So it was like, it was so sad. It was just like this agent and wife just. And so nowadays I look at it and I'm like, if you want to go to a page and see what my dad's family, would you go to the page that my dad's family's running, or would you go to the page his last agent is running? Oh, God, yeah. It's like, I mean, it's like she doesn't even know. Ina doesn't even know my dad. Yeah. All she knows from my dad is how to make money from him for getting him playing stupid gigs he shouldn't have even been playing. You know, so it was, you know, you go on Facebook, you'll see it. You know, you'll see it all there. But I suggest go to the real page that's ran by Nettie, my sister. That's the real official page. That's the one that's real. That's run by us. We the family run it. You know, we have all the media stuff and everything. So, you know, there you go. When did you decide to do your own album, the Charisma album? Well, you see, I was always into original music. I was never into playing covers. Okay. I was always into writing. I mean, I wrote so many songs. I play keyboards too, so I'd write songs. So, you know, I prefer to write from the drum kit because I prefer to sit there and have other people play. I don't like it when I have to sit on the keyboards for hours playing. I prefer to play drums.
Right.
So I prefer to be writing from the drum stool, saying, hey, do this. And what about put that key and take this time signature? But I write a lot of music on the keys. So I was always doing original music. I didn't get into playing covers until later on. It was basically 2005 when I started doing the Cream Experience.
Right, yeah.
All of that was all original music. So the Mojo Tapestry was originals. The Mojo Tapestry Charisma album was actually, the Charisma album was meant to be the Mojo album.
Oh,
what
okay.
happened, the management gave me $2,000 to go record an album. And I got together with Rick Fibocci, Brett Garsed, and TJ Helmrich in LA at MI Music School. And we did this album at MI Music School, and it came out so good that Rick said, I'm not giving this to the manager for $2,000. This is a great album. So we go, well, I've got to produce an album. He gave me $2,000.
Yeah.
And I paid them all $666.66. The split it 3 ways. TJ,
Nice.
Brett, and Rick. And so I paid them $666. And I got in my truck after the session, and my truck caught fire.
Oh.
I was like, my solenoid, the wires had caught fire from the exhaust manifold. It just caught fire. I had to fix it on the street.
Oh, my
Luckily,
God.
I know mechanics, so I could fix it. But so I thought that has to be something to do with 666. I know. I mean, maybe it's but anyway, so I had to produce an album for this thing. So Rick goes, you know what? Here, we got together. We just wrote a whole bunch of stuff really quickly and did a jam. The last song is a jam. And then that was Charisma. So my solo album, my first real solo album, is basically offcuts and just jams that we had to put together really quick, because my real solo album ended up being Tapestry. That was, ended up being Rick, and was just kind of cool because I don't think Charisma ever got released.
I don't know. I found one copy of it for sale on Discogs, and it's $80.
$80?
Yeah.
Where's my $79?
He's $66. You'll get 66 of that.
Actually, where's my 79 cents is more like it.
Yeah. I found there's one copy for sale on Discogs. That's it.
Well, I mean, it's a lot of like, I mean, one of the tracks is me playing drums on Mars, right? It's me playing like a drum thing in the studio. I did this drum thing, and the guy goes, well, why don't you put some keyboards to it? So I grabbed the keyboard and I just did a one-take keyboard line over this drum solo thing. And that was it.
Oh.
That became Drums on Mars. Was like, because it was so out there, because it was like, I was listening to my drum solo going, okay, well, this, and I did this, and I was just hitting keys. And like, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just like trying to follow my drum solo with keyboards and making it up as I went. And the guy goes, I think it's great. And I go, well, I don't know. I mean, it sounds a bit off, but he goes, I think we should call it Drums on Mars, and that's where. So I was like, okay. The Charisma is really like the last track on Charisma, Jam Donuts. It's a jam. This is basically a jam that we did. And one of the other ones, I can't remember, one of the other tracks was a loop that Rick wrote and said, play drums to this. And I just played drums over it. So the first track, Turkey and Rice, is me playing everything except for the guitar and the tambourine.
Oh, man. See, you're making me want to hear this.
Yeah, I mean, that is the one track that I think on the Charisma album, which I like. I don't really like the guitar on the front of it. I think it's a bit weird, but I like the rest of the guitar. But I didn't play guitar. I played bass. I did keyboard bass on it. I did all the lead lines on the keyboards and the drums. And we ended up keeping, because I quantized all the bass.
Okay.
And the keyboard lines on my keyboard, so they're all in perfect time. And then I put the drums over the top. So I did it backwards.
Oh, wow.
I played the drums to the music because I'm a better drummer than I am a keyboard player. So I figured I could play drums to the better in time to the keyboard lines than I can play time better to the drums. Because when I'm playing keyboards, I'm searching for notes more. You know, I'm not so fluent.
Okay.
So, you know, I might be hesitant. But on the drums, I know what I'm doing. So I played all the keyboard lines and then quantized it so it was perfectly in time, and then played the drums over the top. And that is one of my favorite tracks, Turkey and Rice, because that bass line is mine, the lead lines are mine, all the keyboard lines are mine, everything's mine. The only thing I'm not playing is the guitar and the tambourine.
Oh,
it was overdubbed.
Damn, now I want to hear this so badly. I can't find it anywhere.
But that, yes. But, well, I mean, I don't know if I even have a copy.
Yeah,
I know I have a copy of a bit of Turkey and Rice because it's on the CD that comes in my drum book, because I put it on the front of my drum book as an introduction to show what you can do with times, because Turkey and Rice is a polyrhythm song. It's the same click through the whole song, but it changes time. So it's a polyrhythm, and I wanted to show before I went into teaching the book what polyrhythms can achieve.
Okay.
I mean, people don't realize Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, those two things are the same tempo, same time. The da-da-da-da-da-da, bump, bump. It's like da-da-da, bump, bump. Here, look. Okay. Let me give you a stick here.
Yeah.
So look, if you're going like da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, bump, 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 bump. There's your both rhythms at the same time.
Oh, wow.
It's a 2 against 3 polyrhythm.
Oh, wow.
You know, George Martin was classically trained. He knew all these polyrhythms, you know, and it happens a lot. She's So Heavy. It's the same click track through that. There's all things that you think change time, but they're not. George Martin's very clever. Wow. He's very good at the polyrhythm. So I wanted to explain that polyrhythms have been used to achieve the most amazing songs. And nowadays, people don't use them. I mean, Jungle Boogie, but da 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 is a 3 against 4 polyrhythm. So there is a few here and there, but not today. Music is just do. In fact, I was gonna sit there with a guitar around my neck, a keyboard in front of me, and a kick drum, and just play the kick drum for 3 minutes just on the quarter note and go, there you go. There's your song. Because that's what they want. Wow. What gave me the inspiration to do that was I was playing a club and a song came on, and for the first minute, it was just that boom, 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 so everybody could dance.
Yeah, yeah.
And why do you think today's music has to have such a big light show and so much dancers and so much visual entertainment? Because if you close your eyes, it doesn't mean shit.
It's all the same.
You know, I mean, nowadays you have to have the visual entertainment. Back in the day, you used to light up a joint and close your eyes and listen to the music. Yeah. You know, and that was it. You know, nowadays you've got to fucking, you know, you got to be on acid, not acid, you got to be on coke and watching all the dancers or speed. I suppose speed and coke is it. You know. But, you know, that's the thing. It's just like, I wish music would come back to real musicians. You know, I mean, it's fortunate. I mean, I have a studio, so I do a lot of session work, and I take the easy route. You know, I'm doing a session. I'll play the verse, loop it, the chorus, loop it. You know, I'll just loop the parts, tie it together, paste. You know, off there's your track. You know, I don't play the whole track all the way through anymore because they want the snare drum to sound the same from the beginning to the end, exactly the same decibels are exactly the same. Back in the old days, the snare drum sound would change. You know, with the feel of how the drummer's playing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The track, you know, it'd be up, down, you know, there'd be dynamics. Nowadays, the drums don't have dynamics. It's the same thing. So you can't really do that unless you loop the drums, you know, so that's what they want. They want that loop beat. And so that's what's happened to the music business. People don't know how to play anymore. That's why I think live music is so good, even though if you go to a big gig, unless you're going to go see someone like Eric Clapton or someone who actually has their musicians really know what they're doing. Like, you know, Eric's got Steve Gadd playing drums with him and people like that, you know. So you've got real musicians on stage. But if you go watch Britney Spears or Yanni, Yanni had good musicians, but it was all DAT tapes.
Oh,
you know, it's all, you know, it's all playing to DAT tapes. I mean, all those bands you see nowadays, it's all watch the drummer, because I think it's kind of fun watching the drummer sometimes, because he's playing. Sometimes they have these really good gospel drummers and they're doing all this cool shit behind the stuff, and it's not, you can barely hear it in the background underneath this let's keep in the, you know, that's obviously not the drummer. It's just the what they're playing to.
Yeah.
That's why I just hope it, you know, I hope this COVID thing ends and we can get back to live music and get back to really doing it again, because this last 2 years have sucked.
Well, you guys are about to head out on tour, the music of Cream. That you've been working with the Cream catalog for a number of years at this point.
Right. Well, 2005, the reunion, I went to Madison Square Gardens, the Madison Square Gardens concert. And I was like, I kind of like this stuff. I mean, I'd heard it before, but I hadn't really delved into it because it's my dad's music. I don't want to play my dad's shit.
Right.
But I was like, you know what? I love jazz. My dad brought me up to love jazz and improv, and I'm really good at improvisation and jazz. And I was like, this Cream stuff lends itself to that because it's like a head of it's a jazz tune just played commercially. And my dad, Eric, and Jack made a Pacific. They intentionally made it commercial. Okay. You know, they intentionally say, we're going to do something commercial to sell, because my dad had 3 kids at this point. You know, I was just being born. We had Nettie and Leda, and I was on the way. So they had to make some money, you know. So they basically just took some commercial songs and then just jammed over them, you know, had jams and you know, like, you know, my dad and Jack would say, you know, my dad would say, it's a jazz band. Eric doesn't know it. You know, it's just, we never told Eric. But I started listening to that in 2005 and thinking, you know what? And then my dad had an argument with Jack at the end of the 2005. And they were going to do more gigs. And my dad's like, I'm not fucking doing this anymore. I screwed Jack. And I don't need the money anyway. I made $5 million. You know, I'm like, Dad, you made $5 million. You know what you should do? You should buy property. Yeah. Screw you. I'm not buying. I'm buying myself 20 polo horses from London for $25,000 a horse. I'm going to spend $2 million flying into Africa where they're worth nothing because the quarantine won't let them out of the country. I'm like, that's smart. That's good. And then I'm going to pay Argentinian polo players $5,000 a week to come play with me. Good job. So that $5 million lasted about a year or two.
Wow. Oh my God.
I mean, and then I was like, you know, my mom was like, before you blow all your money, buy your son a car at least. You never got him anything. At least buy him a car before you blow your $5 million. And my dad calls me up and goes, your mom said I should get you a car. I'm like, what do you want? I go, my truck is like, you know, I learned mechanics because I built my truck. I put the engine in, the transmission, the doors, the axles, the driving steering column. I put that. I bought an old truck with a blown engine and rebuilt the entire thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I knew how mechanics. So I was like, well, my truck is great. I love it. You know, I mean, it's Elderbrock intake. You know, I don't know if you know anything about mechanics. Yeah. But I had a raised intake spacer. I had Elderbrock and a spacer and a 450 CFM Elderbrock carb, headers, you know, RV cam. You know, I went to town on this truck. It was like awesome. But it was like, you know, 15 gallons to the mile. Yeah, I know. You know, it was.
I know Chevelle that was like that.
It's not economical. Yeah. So I said to her, you know, Dad, buy me a truck. Buy me a new truck. Well, how much a truck? So I'm like, well, I think you could get, you know, a work truck for like 20 grand. You know, no bells and whistles. He goes, well, I'll give you 15. I'm like, okay. 15 is like, you know, 3/4 of a truck. I'll go with that. You know, so he gave me 15 grand. I sold my truck that I loved for $1,000, which was stupid because I just spent $1,200 on tires. But I'm really bad with stuff. Like I'm like, oh, you want to buy my truck? Oh, well, you know, my steering column thing leaks. This is wrong with it, and that's wrong with it. I tell them everything is wrong with it, and then I wouldn't pay more than $1,000 for it. So $1,000. I'm like, what did I just do? I just spent $1,200 on the tires.
You just bargained yourself down.
Yeah. And then I had a Toyota Supra, and I sold that for $3,000. And I had a DW drum kit, which I sold for $3,000. And that together gave me the extra money to buy the truck. And I had to put $1,000 into a camper shell for the shell for the truck. So I sold my Supra, my drum kit, my truck for this truck with my dad's $15,000. But I got a brand new 2007 truck with 7 miles on it. Drove it off the lot, brand new. And I was like, that's an achievement. To actually own a brand new It's the only one I've ever owned, obviously.
Yeah.
But I still have it. I still have the truck. And then my dad was like, 5 or 6 years ago, he was broke, and he was like asking us, when my mum died, he was asking us all for money. And I was like, Dad, I tied up all my money into this house I bought. I bought a house with all the money.
Yeah.
He goes, well, you got that truck. I go, yeah, we'll sell the truck. I'm like, Dad, it's the only truck I got now. I can't sell the truck. Right now, it's like 10 years old. I'm the only owner. It's better for me to keep it, because if I sell it, I won't get the money it's worth, because I've changed the oil. I've done all the transmission changes. I've done the coolant changes. That thing's immaculate. You know, I mean, I won't get my money back on it.
No, and then you're going to talk the other person into paying less anyway.
Exactly. if you buy a brand new car off the lot, you should drive that car till it's dead.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you won't get your money back.
Oh, no.
Never. If you don't want to do that, buy a car that's 2-3 years old and then sell it. Because, at least you won't, you drive a car off the lot and then you've lost half your money.
Exactly.
I've repaired everything on that truck and it's still going. It just passed its 100,000 miles.
Oh, nice. Very.
But
on a 2007?
Yeah, but it's only done gigs.
Oh, okay.
I have a car. And I have a small kit. So all local gigs I do in my car with a 5-piece. Okay. But all the big gigs, that truck it's been around America probably 4 times, but it's always done, big journeys. Every time I take that truck out, it's 5,000 miles on it.
It's all highway miles.
So it's all highway miles. So I've never even replaced the brakes, original brakes.
Wow.
But, I don't really, I'm a European driver again, so I don't go accelerator to brake like they do out here.
Yeah.
If the light's red, you're going to be pissed off if you're behind me, because I'm going to be moseying up to that red light with my car in neutral, and then I got people behind me like, I've got videos of people behind me just blaring their horn because the light's turning red and I'm not racing up to it. But that's why I've got the original brake pads on it, because, when I'm on a freeway, I judge my traffic and I judge myself, and I don't slam my brakes on up to a stop sign or a red light,
How did you get the music of Cream started again? And that started with Malcolm and you.
Oh, that's like 8 podcasts alone. So I'm trying to get through that. I'll try and shorten it as best I can. Okay. So me and Malcolm have known each other since we were kids, 14, 15, not real young, but 14, 13, 15, somewhere in that. So we've always played together, but, we've always been into, jazz and fusion and all that kind of stuff. So never really Cream. So when I got into playing the Cream stuff later on, I was like, Malcolm, you want to do Cream? And he was like, no, I don't want to play my dad's. I don't want to play Cream stuff. So we never really did the Cream stuff. And then I was in a band, an original band, and they wanted us to do some Cream songs. And I said, Malcolm, let's do them. We tried to do them, and it was like Malcolm had no idea. I played a few of them because, I played a few of them, but Malcolm hadn't. So it's like a deer in headlights. We're playing White Room or something, and he has no idea how it goes.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, well, and the club owner was kind of pissed. So I never really did that again. There was a guy called Godfrey Townsend, guitar player.
Okay.
Worked with famous people. And he said, look, I'll get you together, you and Malcolm, we'll call it Sons of Cream. And I was like, okay. I said, but Malcolm doesn't know any Cream. And Godfrey got together with Malcolm and they rehearsed all the Cream. Godfrey showed him all the Cream stuff and Malcolm learned all the Cream stuff.
Wow.
And we got together and we did this band called Sons of Cream, which was me, Malcolm, and Godfrey Townsend. Great band, but Malcolm always never really wanted to play Cream. He always wanted to do his original stuff. He was always writing, a play or this or that. He's very classical keyboard, so his heart was never into playing Cream stuff. So he was always, every interview. If we had Malcolm on this interview right now, if we were doing a podcast with Malcolm, you'd be asking me a question. You'd be like, "Well, no, don't talk about Cream. Now my play." Now, my original song, I'm doing this band. Oh, music, no, don't worry about that. I've got this. And so it was a little bit hard. I would say, Malcolm, look, I'm really into this now. I mean, for me, it's like I feel like it's what I should be doing in my life is keeping that stuff going. I mean, I like my original music and I've still got it and I still write original music, but my life goal is to keep my dad's legacy going. I promised it to him before he died on his dying bed. I promised I would keep his legacy going. I promised I would do that. And he seemed like, to me, he seemed really happy about it. He was smiling and he was happy and he was laughing. And I've never seen my dad like that.
Wow,
so,
that's amazing.
So for me, it's like it's in my heart. So, you know, Malcolm never really wanted to do it. So unfortunately now we let Malcolm do his thing. We had to let Malcolm, okay, Malcolm, go do your thing. Yeah. We weren't going to force you to do this anymore. Go do your thing. And me and Will are keeping it going. And we got great musicians, we've got some great guys that we got together to do it. So now the Music of Cream is me and Will keeping it going. We've got Steve Ball on keyboards and Chris Lone on bass for this next up-and-coming tour, which hopefully we start in spring because the European side already cancelled because of COVID.
Oh, did it? Wow.
We were meant to be in Europe in February. We were meant to be doing Europe. But that cancelled, so now we're April, starting in Florida, I think. And I also have my psychedelic trip band, which I'm doing as well, which plays locally around where I live.
Oh, cool.
Which we don't do so much Cream. We do some Cream songs, but it's more Blind Faith, Hendrix, Beatles, Led Zeppelin, all kinds of stuff.
Awesome.
All kinds of weird stuff that I like. All the psychedelic music I like.
Yeah.
So it's a little more of a various stuff. The Music of Cream and Clapton Classics, which we tour, is we do the Disraeli Gears album from beginning to finish, the whole album. We tag on the Cream songs that are not on the album that we like, we think, and then we do Clapton songs, so there's some Cream songs in the Clapton Classics as well, but we do, the Clapton side, which is Will's side. I'm not really that up on the Clapton stuff. I know it now, but, I wasn't really a Cocaine or a Layla or, those kind of songs were not really what I got into.
Yeah.
I was more into Frank Zappa and that kind of stuff. And I like the Cream stuff because there's jams in the Cream stuff. There's not jams really. But Eric is jamming out more now. He seems to be, stretching it out a lot more now when he plays the stuff. So I think he's getting back to that stuff.
I've been following him lately. That's good to hear because I love that stuff.
I never really knew Clapton until, I knew him, I met him, but I never really knew him. Never really sat down and talked to him until my dad's memorial.
Yeah. And
he's definitely the most sane out of the three of them. He's definitely one you can actually have a conversation with without having to worry about what's going to happen. And he seems like a really down-to-earth guy. I mean, I really liked him, and I really like him because he was my dad's friend. He's my dad's best friend. So I really have a lot of love for Eric. And I've been, Gad. I never really studied Gad that much,
Okay.
And then playing with Gad, I was like, this guy is just like, he doesn't have to, he can hit the tom once and it's just like, that is beautiful.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have to play two hits. He just has this feel. And when you play with him, you're engulfed in this bubble. And it's like a warm, relaxed, beautiful bubble. And it just makes you play beautiful when you're playing with him. And I was just like,
awesome.
Gad, man, I got on YouTube and I started studying him. I started learning his riffs. I was like, man, Gad, you're my new guy.
I didn't realize how much he had been on until recently. I mean, he's played on so much.
What? His Gad's been on so much?
Yeah.
Gad's on it. Yeah.
I didn't realize how much he's played on. A lot of the music that I grew up listening to. I didn't realize that was him.
Right. Steely Dan. So much stuff. But I mean, he's just such a great drummer and he's such a great guy.
That's awesome.
He's such a great, relaxed. His drumming is like him, just beautiful. It's just amazing. So, I got Gad's number and I text him and he's like, don't text me, call me. I don't deal with it. So now I want to call him up all the time and go, Gad, you're fucking amazing. But I'm like, I don't want to pester him, but I just want to call him up all the time and go, Gad, I love you, man. I love you.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm
sure he gets that all the time. So,
You call him up. We'll do a podcast with the both of you, and you can tell him the whole podcast how much you love him.
We all love that.
Yeah. How can people find the tour dates and keep track of where the Music of Cream is going to be playing?
Okay, well, you can always go to kofibaker.com.
Okay.
So that's my name, KOFIBAKR.com, kofibaker.com. Or you can go to musicofcream.com. The good thing about kofibaker.com is it has all my local dates on it as well.
Oh, cool.
So you can see, if you're local to me, you can see where I'm playing locally. So that would be a good thing to just, if you're anywhere near Illinois or Indiana or anywhere in that vicinity, I play those areas pretty, sometimes I get out to New York or Pennsylvania with my original thing. But the Music of Cream is a good website for the Music of Cream because it's our tour dates that we play around the world.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not around the world now, just around America and Canada, because the rest of the world is shutting down because of COVID. But
yeah, again,
we've got to get over this COVID thing. I mean, come on, man, it's enough.
Just do some cocaine. We'll be fine.
Yeah. I'm fully vaccinated, but I still think cocaine would be better.
Yeah, exactly. So am I, and I've had it twice.
Get everybody on coke and just tell them, like, that will. Or you know what? Maybe everybody should just be so drugged out of their minds that they don't even know they got COVID.
Exactly. Or you just sweat it right out of your body.
Right, exactly. I mean, unfortunately, it is a serious thing. I know people that have died.
Yeah. And,
it is serious. But I just think at this point, 2 years is enough. I think if you're really, got a bad immune system and you're not going to vaccinate yourself, you've got to stay home. But don't screw it up for the people that are, are well and are vaccinated. Let them go out and do their stuff, because it's like, for me in the musician world, we've been crushed.
Yes.
Not only the musicians, the bar owners, the bar staff, the agents, everybody involved in the music business has been crushed. The entertainment music has been crushed by this. But you still let people go to Walmart.
Yeah, exactly.
But you won't let them go to a gig, and it's like, I just think enough. I mean, this was one of Eric's things, was like, I think Eric was like, enough.
Yeah.
Let's just get over it. Let's just go out there.
Is there a social media presence where people can follow you and your bands, the local ones?
Well, I'm on Facebook.
Okay.
I'm on Facebook. I think my girlfriend handles my Twitter and my Instagram for me, because I don't know how to do all that stuff, but she handles it for me. So you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And I do my own Facebook. I try to stay off political stuff and everything on it. So I try and keep it, because I put a few political things. Facebook asks you, what's on your mind? Well, this is on my mind. Then I get like tons of people pissed off at me. Well, ask me what's on my mind.
Yeah, and then they ban you for it.
Yeah, this is my personal page. I'm not allowed to say what's on my mind. So I keep off the political stuff. I keep away from religion. I keep away from political stuff.
Yeah. I
just keep it about the music, because, that's the most peaceful and the most best thing to do, I think. And I don't want to live a life fighting with people, So I know Republicans and Democrats, which are great people.
Well, Kofi, man, I thank you so much. I've kept you for quite a while here tonight, but thank you. It's been just awesome talking with you. I really appreciate all the time you spent.
Oh, great. Well, thank you. I'm sure we can do it again. And where are you based?
I'm in Virginia. I'm in Winchester, Virginia.
Okay.
So
you're going to come out to a show, so I'll get to meet you, right?
Yeah. I was talking to Will the other day. I'm going to try to get to the show you guys are doing in Alexandria.
Okay, great. So well, definitely get backstage and come and see us.
I will. I was a photographer for like 15 years professionally. I'm bringing my camera. I want to shoot the show, and I'll share some photos with you guys, and we'll hang out and have maybe a beer. Probably not cocaine, but some beer.
I don't drink though.
Okay, well, let's see.
So we just have to have a muffin or a joint.
There you go. Maybe some tea.
Is it legal in Virginia? It's probably not, is it?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Probably not.
I don't do that.
Like
I see. I'm the exact opposite of you. I'll have a drink, but that's about as far as I go. So, but I like my whiskey. So.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just not a drinker. I mean,
Yeah.
I find that the pot, I've got screwed up back. I have no L5, so so the smoking it doesn't really help, but the eating it takes my pain away.
Oh, that's
so.
It's funny.
That's fine.
My day job is I work for a medical device company. We make spinal implants.
Ah.
So.
See, that's what I've got to figure out because I've got a thing called partial lumbarization.
Okay.
So my L5 didn't form properly, and I'm not connected. My sacrum's not connected, and I've got an extra lumbar that sticks out.
Oh, wow.
So what I have to do is every probably 3 months, I'm on the floor for 2 or 3 days, and I can't move. But when my back is normal, I have this thing where I just lean to my left, and my back will clunk back into position. And then after about an hour, it'll start really hurting, and I have to plunk it back. So I have to completely keep adjusting my L5 back into position.
Wow.
So it's really kind of screwed up. So
you've got a stability issue.
I suppose I'm going to have to get like some kind of a plate or something, get welded or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I hang upside down every day. I've got the inversion table for when my back really goes out, but when my back's fine, I have the boots and the bar.
Oh, cool. I haven't tried that.
I go on the boots and I do crunches, and that's how I do a lot of my exercise. And that apparently I've been doing it since I was 20. So apparently when I got hit by a car and they found out, they x-rayed me and they go, what the hell?
You got hit by a car?
It's like, yeah.
Oh,
go to YouTube and put in Kofi bike.
Kofi bike.
Kofi bike. Put that in YouTube and watch.
All right.
Watch what happens. I have cameras. I have a camera in my car, a camera in my truck, a camera when I ride. I have everything on camera. So I got hit by this car. Anyway, when I went to the hospital and I went to the chiropractor and they looked at my back because I crushed the nerves in my upper back.
Oh.
So I lost all the power in my right arm for like 6 months.
Oh, wow.
But, they x-rayed me and they go, well, I know you got this upper back problem for the accident, but what is going on with the lower back? You've got this thing called partial lumbarization. And what we can't figure out is your legs are straighter than a normal person with a correct. Everything's lined up perfectly straight. It's like how, with this condition, you should be crippled. You should be in a wheelchair or crippled. You should not be straight. And I go, what the hell have you been doing? I said, well, I've been hanging upside down since I was 20, and I've been working out like nuts, lower back workouts and everything. So what I've done is I've pulled everything straight and then built muscle around it. So that's the only reason, I'm actually better off than what I should be.
Wow.
So,
but
it's starting to get bad now. So I think as I'm getting older, I'm going to have to get this, get the fusion thing.
Well, hopefully it'll be a lot easier than it used to be for you. So.
Yeah, I hope so. I'd love to not have to be every 3 months, scream at my girlfriend's daughter for no reason. Because I'm so much pain.
Well, man, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All right.